What's up, you guys? I'm Eric and welcome back to my channel. No, you grow up. Today's video we're going to be talking about every iteration of the Turtles and why they're all important. I'm mostly going to be focusing on all the ongoing series that we've had. So the original Fred Wolf cartoon, the Next Mutation, the 2003 series, the 2012 series, and then the most recent one, Rise. This isn't going to be like a if you don't like every type of Turtles, then you're not a real Turtle fan type of video. I don't believe that at all. I think one of the great things about this franchise is that we have a million different things to love, and you can love it all, you can pick and choose, and there's not really a right or wrong way to do that. I want the focus of my channel to be on fun. That's always first and foremost. I want to do this to have fun, I want you guys to have fun, but I also just feel like even if I have a small voice, I want to help use that to push the community in a positive direction. I just feel like the more inclusive it is for everybody, the more fun everybody can ultimately have. And I just think that's something that's really important for our community, is to just not divide up into camps and kind of pick on each other. And there's definitely some fans that get picked on more than others, so that's just kind of what I want to talk about today. So with all that stuff out of the way, you can get this video going.
One of my favorite things about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is that there's so many different iterations. We're lucky enough to have one of those franchises that's never really gone away for an extended period of time. Between TV shows, movies, comics, video games, we've pretty much always had some kind of Turtles media if we wanted to look hard enough. My two favorite iterations of the Turtles are the original cartoon and the original movie trilogy, and that's 100% because of nostalgia. But my third favorite version is the Mirage Turtles, and I didn't even discover them until about 4 years ago. It's a much more adult version of the Turtles, and it just spoke to me in a way that I don't think it would have in my youth. As we grow up, we tend to want the things we love to grow up with us, but the Turtles were actually grown up from the start and had to be made kid-friendly to blow up the way it did. Even though the comics were a hit, the franchise never would have become what it did if it wasn't for the aging down of the Turtles and creating the kids' cartoon and the toy line. The Turtles have the ability to change and be manipulated and aged up or down, but as long as the spirit's kept intact, they're always the Turtles, whether they're pizza-loving party animals or they're literally murdering Shredder and drinking beer. Even though the bulk of the fandom is in their 30s and 40s, there always needs to be that entry point into the franchise for kids, which usually comes in the form of an animated series with a companion toy line. But unfortunately, the most recent attempt at this was one of the biggest flops since the Next Mutation. And I'm saying that objectively, based off the length of the series and the length of the toy line. With the recent release of the Rise of the TMNT movie, it seems to be bringing that show back into the conversation, and I'm mostly hearing good things about that movie, which is awesome. With all the talk about it, I figured I'd finally stop avoiding it and give the series a try, and I just watched the first episode. My expectations couldn't have been any lower, and honestly, I didn't think it was nearly as bad as people make it out to be. It is most definitely the furthest the Turtles have stepped away from the status quo of the previous series iterations, but you have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. This show wasn't for me and you. This show was intended to bring kids into the franchise, and the thing about kids is, they're weird, and they like weird stuff. I know we all think we're cool adults who still act like kids, but the thing is, we're basing the idea of being kids off of what it was like when we were kids in the 80s and 90s. The times change, and people change with them, including kids. For the Turtles to stand the test of time, they have to change as well, whether we as old school fans like it or not. And unfortunately, it probably is just going to keep getting weirder and weirder for us. I know we all love our member berries. I eat them by the fistful every single day of my life. But we're not the ones that need to be constantly brought back into the franchise. We're in. And maybe I'm only speaking for myself, but nothing short of death is probably going to take me out anytime soon. That's why we have to be thankful that for 27 of the last 35 years, there's always been an ongoing series for kids to discover. Sure, some iterations have been more well received than others, but even the ones that weren't as beloved were still someone's entry point to the Turtles universe, and it's still someone's favorite series. How many people do you see that talk about Rise who are just like, I got to watch this show with my kids and they loved it? Even if you don't care for the show, that's rad on so many levels. Even if the parents probably didn't love it as much as their kids, think of how exciting that is for them. These parents are sharing something they love with their kids and building memories with them with a new Turtles show, even if it isn't their Turtles show. And their kids are being introduced to the Turtles for the first time, which is how we keep this party going. That should be our main goal as a community, getting fans in and showing them everything this awesome universe has to offer. We aren't going to be around forever. Batman has outlived quite a bit of its fan base, and I hope Turtles outlived me. Even if Rise isn't for us, Even if I never love another Turtles animated series again, I'm totally okay with that. Not everything has to be for me, and even though I like to think the franchise is mine, it's not. It's not like we aren't already getting the lion's share of the Turtles' attention as adults anyway. We have multiple adult action figure lines, an ongoing IDW series, the Last Ronin miniseries, which is one of the greatest Turtles stories ever told, tons of comic crossovers with Batman, Power Rangers, and I'm pretty sure there's a Ghostbusters one that I haven't read as well. Not into reading comics? Check out the least talked about and most underrated Turtles movie ever, which is based off the first Batman vs. TMNT miniseries. No spoilers, but there's a scene pretty early on where my jaw actually dropped and I was like, damn, this ain't no kids show. As an adult, I don't even truly have a definitive version of the Turtles. I love how fun and goofy and pizza-loving the original cartoon Turtles are. I love how gritty and hardcore the Mirage Turtles are, and I love the combination I get from the original movie. I can love each version differently because they have different things to offer me. If I want to put something fun on a Saturday afternoon while I'm organizing my room or cleaning around the house, it's almost always the original cartoon or the second or third movies. If I want to actually sit down and watch a good movie, I'll pop in the first movie. If I feel like reading, I can grab an original Mirage comic, or if I want something even darker, I can grab a Last Ronin book. I get so many different levels and angles of enjoyment from one single property, and it all started with my entry point with the original cartoon. But these are just the iterations that I love and that mean the most to me, and I know not everyone feels the same way about these ones. I love watching the OG cartoon to this day, but here's the thing, as an adult, I realize that other than the first season, which is excellent, the show is objectively ridiculous, and that's also something that I can love about it now. It's hilarious in terms of both laughing with it and at it. It's extremely meta at times, which I feel like is kind of ahead of the times, especially for a kids show. I get so many jokes I never got as a kid, so there's still new things for me to appreciate about it as well. The OG cartoon is comfort food for me, and I'm sure there are some of you who feel the same exact way about the 2003 or the 2012 series, or even the Next Mutation and Rise. Every iteration of the Turtles means something to someone because of what it means to them, more than what it actually is. Other than the OG cartoon, the 2003 and the 2012 series seem to be the ones that get the most praise. Even though these aren't my series, I think they're both great. I've probably seen 90% of the 2012 series, and just recently started dabbling with the 2003 series since it came to Paramount, but I also randomly caught that as a teenager quite a bit too. The 2003 series stays pretty faithful to the comics, and I can see why old school fans would even prefer this one to the original series, and it's also just a great jumping on point for the kids too. The 2012 series does a great job of capturing the spirit of the OG series with its more comical approach, but it also seamlessly switches between a more serious tone, and the fight scenes are awesome. The way their pupils disappear when they get serious is like one of my favorite parts of that series. I can easily see what people love about both of these series, and I can understand why even old school fans would prefer them to the original cartoon, because honestly, they're both better. But just because I think that they're objectively better doesn't mean I like them more than my favorite iterations. I love the original cartoon for what it is, not how good it actually is. It just means something to me, and that's all that really matters to me. I will admit, I tried watching The Next Mutation as an adult, and I couldn't even finish the first episode. I've already stated what I've seen for the Rise series, but I do intend on giving that series a try. But just because I didn't care for The Next Mutation at all, and Rise didn't blow me away, doesn't mean someone doesn't feel the same way about those shows that I feel about the OG cartoon, or some of you might feel about the 2003 or 2012 series. Every version of the Turtles was someone's first. Every version is special to someone for their own reasons. I'm sure there's plenty of OG Turtles fans whose new favorite show is Rise simply for the fact that they were able to share it with their kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you any less of a Turtles fan if your favorite version isn't amongst the most popular. Turtles has a huge casual fan base, but the hardcore community is much smaller than you guys probably think. Turtles don't even have a dedicated con, and I for one hope we can get the community to a point where it's big enough where maybe someday that'll be possible. If we want this community to grow, we need to all have each other's backs and celebrate each other's love for the Turtles, even if other people might not love it the same exact way you do. It's okay to not like something, but don't make others feel like they don't belong if they do. We all belong here. It's okay that Rise wasn't the biggest hit, and it's also okay that you like it anyway. We should never have to defend what we love, especially inside our own community. Let's just be happy we're fans of something that keeps going, And even if what is going might not be the best to you, it might be to someone else, and that's what matters. Alright you guys, that's going to wrap things up for this video. I know I didn't really touch a lot on the Babe verse, or I didn't really talk much about the Next Mutation, but I'm really trying to condense my videos down even more so than I have been. So just to kind of give you guys an idea, both the last two videos I've made, what you've heard in the videos is probably about 50% of what I actually wrote, and they were still 10 times longer than I ever thought they would be. The one thing I've learned after starting this channel is I guess I do have way more to talk about than I thought I did. I remember having to give 5-minute speeches and it felt like torture, and now I have to try to trim things down to be under 20 minutes, which is just crazy to me. But I guess that's just how things are when you are actually passionate about something and not just being forced to do it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for all the new subscribers and all the views I've gotten in the last week. I really don't even know what to think about it. It's almost overwhelming. I think when I posted my video last Thursday night, I had just hit 100, and now I'm well over 200 subscribers, which is insane to me. So thank you all for subscribing, and thank everybody that's just watched all my videos too. In the last week, I've gotten what I consider to be an intimidating amount of views. I'm not trying to complain about that. It's pretty rad, but at the same time, I feel like this can only possibly set me up for disappointment. Yeah, in my wildest dreams, I wouldn't have guessed that I would have done a quarter as good as I'm doing at the start. So again, just thank you guys all so much. I can't explain to you how good this feels, and I'm just glad that people want to hear what I have to say. Again, that's not like my opinion's more valid or any more important than anybody else's. So the fact that anybody cares, let alone the amount of you that have, it just feels very good. I don't really know how to explain it. I'm not the best at describing my emotions to begin with, but yeah, thank you guys. I hope you stick around. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, hopefully you guys will watch the next one and we can keep things rolling. So thanks again. You guys take it easy, be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.